on a heartbreak ridge. I mean, like our cinnamon roll guy. I'm not being like funny. It's not a funny thing. I mean, he's been coming in later. He's a little sick, stuff like that. And it's this thing. I mean, who's fighting for who? Who's fighting for us? I mean, when you get older, you realize, that the things that you looked up to, when you were younger, like the authority figures, that they look up to. I mean, I still have respect. Don't get me wrong. We always should have respect. But it's like flimsy. It's like, again, Biden's like he's sitting there, he's saying I'm always for this, I'm always for that, I'm always, same thing, the speeches. And during the campaign there, there was, from both campaigns, they're like this one guy, this one surrogate, he was mentioning, I mean, because now, it's like, well, now, I mean, it goes from Comey to collusion, to memos, to identity politics, all this kind of stuff. It's just round and round and round. That's why I was telling Crispo, I was like, I mean, it is what it is. But you start to hear little truths and little things that might have been the reason why it went this way, and then now we have everyone just at odds with each other. I mean, you can't be patriotic. You can't say always doing this good, especially on the internet. You really can't. You can't, because you isolate and people think that you don't care. They think you're mean spirited, you're cold hearted. I mean, I really do. That's the feeling I get. It's you can't say anything. You can't say oh, he's finally doing something about DACA. You can't say that. No matter what you say, they have a perfectly good explanation ready for you. I mean, when the campaign was going on, the surrogate, the guy, he's often on there with Lemon. Lemon hardly ever lets him talk. And the same thing with another guy. I forget his name. He's a nice guy. And they just mention stuff. They go, well, all this stuff was coming out. You had, and the premiums were going up. I mean, some of these states, people were worried. And they see Hillary out there. They see her, on the campaign trail. Her speeches. You kind of get the feeling oh, and then even the people that normally vote, a certain way, they weren't even enthused. And now we're just going over all this. So sad. Just going over it. It was this, it was that. But anyways, we are here for the forgotten people. And like I said, when I just sit there and I listen to this, and then I just hear, feel, think, see, I concentrate on the broken and the people that are broken. I will always do that. I mean, especially even as an entertainer, I mean, when I was on the road, when I was acting, when I was doing all that kind of stuff. And again, I'm not stroking no ego. I'm not nothing big. I don't look at myself as anything but a human being. Always have, always will. What I do, here, and what I've done in the past in that kind of sector, I did it, just to see people smile, enjoy, make them feel like they're not forgotten, I mean, that's what I get. I just get, when I hear all these speeches and everything, and I see, I mean, I'm starting to see action right now. I'm actually starting to see action. This whole year, I'm starting to see action. Maybe a lot of people don't view it that way. They still think he's the establishment. They still think he's for the rich and all that kind of stuff. I just don't see it that way. And again, saying that, people will think the worst of you. Like, they say, wow. No, just do it. Do what you're supposed to do. Don't let it hang over, leave it up to the next guy, or for it to win an election. Do it. You were there. You're going to sit there now. He's an easy target, yes. His vocabulary, the way he talks, he says it like it is, It's very easy to call him all kinds of things. Very easy, Now they're going to isolate him even more, like with the football thing, with the Eagles, You get that out more and more. All this piling on. Constantly piling on. After a while, it's just, truths are going to come out, Truths are going to come out. That is it. Doesn't have an agenda. Doesn't have a set time. Just like when change happens, when there's a huge change, we don't know when that change is going to be. Boom. That's it. Everything is politics. Everything. Why would you want to fix the roads down here? Why? Who cares? Who cares? Do people do it with what? Is it a well-traveled road? Is it up there where all the decorations are? Sorry, I'm getting a little bit political, but he wants to do stuff. Oh, there's the white cat-eyed feet. That black and white cat-eyed feet. He gets around. Imagine that, I film twice a day. I film in the morning and in the afternoon. He was abandoned, 2 years ago, they just left. They left him there. Jerry will feed it, And I was so nice to this couple too. I gave him coats, gave him stuff, the guy, he needed something, I needed a couple of beers here, That's what I do, But I'm not judging or anything. He's got it tough. He had it tough. And, when I mentioned, I might not agree with a lot of these commentators, a lot of these politicians, but when something happens, I feel for them. I don't expect anyone to feel it for me, I don't, but I just do, because that's not what it's about, It's definitely, there's no ill, there's no hatred here. It's like you're just tapping someone on the shoulder a little bit, or just like waving, like when my mom came back shopping the other day, Kate, was out there, and she was like driving off, and she had to drop off her other sister, so it was like a block away, and my mom said, "Oh, I forgot my makeup." She just bought makeup at Macy's. I forgot it, and Kate has it. It's in her bag. And I'm just yelling, because I know, I don't know, just did it, instincts. That's what men do. Walk down the street in your socks, hey, you're shouting, hey. I didn't ask. There was some stuff that I could have used. I didn't ask. I don't care anymore. This is it. When I was a kid, I thought everything was fair and everything like that. Now I know differently. You got to find it within yourself, And if they don't listen to you, they don't listen to you. They're not going to listen to you. They're all puffed. They're puffed up. And we'll see you tonight on the Big West One Radio. Have a little coffee, play a little bit of Psychedelic Furs. Yeah, baby. On a heartbreak ridge, All night long, we got the radio on. So anyway, don't go by me. This car has its blinkers on the whole freaking morning. The whole morning. Not the whole morning, but I mean, I started at 4 o'clock. And we can start a little later now that I know, well, we'll know when I load it up. If I get everything, I think this is enough. Try and catch a glimpse at the time, about 10:25. I think the first one was 17, that's enough, like a half hour or less. I think we'll keep it around, 27 minutes to 30. I think that's pretty decent. And really nothing in the afternoon other than saying hi. Or like, when we have something, we'll go out there and we'll do the street interviews. I don't run around, all over the place. It's just not my style, I mean, how many balls in the air can I have? Like, I'm trying to do a serious talk show here, and I just can't be like, sprouting out of all these places, like, with a camera, like, I mean, especially with all that tension, if the tension wasn't as high, maybe, if there was peace in our time and all that kind of stuff, yes, I wouldn't mind, like, popping up at places, like, I would feel like I walk into a store, like, and, do videos like, they do down in Philly, like, the BFF and GF, whatever, me, walking into a place like that, it's just like, you just get all kinds of looks, like, there's a madman here, what's he doing? He's talking about the elderly, the sick, and the poor.